Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of From No Crypto to No Crypto. I'm your host, the Crypto Coach, Blockchain Wayne. Today we're joined by Gabriel with daGama. Gabriel, thanks for joining us today.
Hey Wayne, thank you so much for the invite. It's great to be on your podcast. Yeah, I mean it's been a while since we last spoke, but yeah, it was great to meet you at Token 2049 in Dubai. So let's get this going.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I can tell you, as I mentioned with daGama, and we'll get more into what daGama is, but I've actually thought about what you guys are building quite a few times over the last since we've met with all the travels that I've had, and how something like you're building that your team is building would definitely come in handy. So, but before we get into what daGama is, man, can you tell us a little bit about your background? Maybe what you did, if you did anything prior to getting into this space, and any background in Web3?
Yeah, absolutely. Basically before getting into crypto, I mean my background is actually I'm Jordanian. And I've been living in the UK for about 7 years. I finished my high school and university, graduated from the University of Kent. I always wanted to be part of a financial sector. Obviously, back then, crypto wasn't really big. I've heard of Bitcoin. A good friend of mine actually wrote a dissertation about Bitcoin back in 2013, 14, when it was around 200, $300 per Bitcoin. Um, but I was always back then. I was into more traditional finances. My background is in economics and business. I worked for most of the time in financial consulting, so sort of something like a family office where we would provide certain products to high net worth individuals, starting from corporate bonds, real estate in the UK, Cyprus, etc., doing citizenships for high net worth individuals. Um, but then it all changed when COVID hit. One of my partners, he was an elderly guy. His name was David, and his health uh, wasn't good enough. So unfortunately, he passed away, and the business fell apart. And I started looking for alternative options. Went into banking consulting for Mastercard. That lasted for about a year and a half. After that, I took a gap year, started traveling, visited more than 40 countries. That's actually how the idea with daGama came up, because obviously there is a big problem when you're coming to a place as a first time tourist. And there is really clear lack of information of where to go and what to do. And me and a couple of other guys, we got together and we decided to create something that would be beneficial to the world, to create an application where users can actually find places that others recommend to them, rather than going to services like TripAdvisor and Yelp, where everything is essentially fake.
Yeah. Yeah, I can tell you, I definitely seen that in the travels that I've had. Is when I'm going somewhere like I pretty much now avoid Yelp, avoid TripAdvisor, and the best thing I've had so far is okay. Maybe I'll go to Instagram or TikTok and look up any videos people may have posted, right? Because it's kind of hard to fake some of those videos, but it's not really the best. And funny you mentioned I was about to ask if that was the inspiration, but yeah, hitting 40 countries, I can definitely understand that, man. When you get there, you want to maximize your time, especially if it's your first time there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like a prime example was when we first visited Cyprus. I was with a friend of mine who just got married and he had a kid with his wife. And we were just booking properties on Airbnb. There was an advert, obviously the reviews and everything was spot on, but the expectations and the reality didn't match, because there was supposed to be a beach within walking distance, but actually it turned out to be 2.5 kilometers away from the actual location. And as you can understand, that's already extra expensive because you have to rent a car. You're not going to walk, 2.5 kilometers in the summer in Cyprus with extensive heat with a kid, and it's like a vicious circle. And that's what a lot of tourists, in my opinion, come across: extra expenses and the information that is not really up to reality.
Right. Gotcha, man. So yeah, let's jump in. I mean, you kind of touched on it already, but can you tell everybody what the Gamma is and what you guys aim to do with your the product that you're building?
Yeah. What daGama is, we are a recommendation-based service with a focus on the community. So the way we're going to work is that we are actually taking a completely different approach from services like TripAdvisor or even Google Maps, where we're going to give our users a completely empty map which they will start filling out with content. Because what we thought is we would rather have 30 to 40 cool places in each city of interest rather than giving people thousands of places, or with the majority of them being of little to no interest. And that kind of creates banner blindness, because you start scrolling through
Mhm.
content, and within 5 to 10 minutes you're completely lost of where to go, what to do.
Sure.
And that's what we were discussing when we met in Dubai. um, you know, it's the attention span of a typical user is very short nowadays. So I think by using daGama, and especially with the technologies that we're going to implement with our AI Vasco assistant, that will be able to give you places that fully fit to your preferences and to your mood, and with our utility token that we're giving as a reward for writing content, it's something that's definitely going to change the way people travel. Because the key thing was, we were thinking, how to give people an impulse and incentive to start writing content. And obviously this is monetary incentive. We are connecting businesses to users directly, where business does not have to pay anything for the advertisement in a typical business model of TripAdvisor and Yelp. They only start paying back to their own users as a reward once they start writing content about their place. So essentially, we are matching business and users in a way that the business is getting a platform. If they truly invest into the quality of service and products, then they're going to get the most valuable form of advertising in word of mouth recommendations, which are extremely hard to get nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys, I think we were talking about this before we started recording, but the product's already built, right? And when I say you're building, it's built. You guys have it in it's in test mode right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's in test flight mode. We're making sure that everything is as smooth as possible, because I mean, we want to give people the best user experience possible. And in order to do that, we must make sure that once the product is live, there is minimal amount of bugs and something that puts people off. So that's something that we are working extremely hard on. And once we're live, obviously follow our Twitter page for more updates, our website, our social media platforms, and obviously I'm going to be the one to let you know once you can also join daGama and start exploring the world in a new way.
Awesome, awesome. And so, tell me a little bit about the. You mentioned AI in there. How does the AI that you have into the Gamma? How does that operate?
So it's obviously our in-house built technology that allows the user. So, for example, you're the guy to create a first map. You live in Texas, from what I remember, right? So
Louisiana, actually.
Louisiana.
Close
So,
enough.
sorry,
Yeah,
Wayne.
close enough.
Yeah, close. I think the reason I thought about Texas is because you told me that you were in a conference in Texas
Yeah,
the other
consensus.
the
Yeah,
other week. Yeah, consensus,
right.
right? So let's say you're in Louisiana, Lafayette, for instance. Um, and a cool place that is like a hidden gem, and you're the first to put it out on the map. Within time, once our AI assistant can track what kind of places you put out on the map and what you recommend, it takes the data and it recommends similar places to what you've added to the map in other locations where you're present at the moment. So this
Mm.
way, it actually completely crosses out the places that would not be of interest to you and recommend places that you kind of like yourself. So this is the idea behind it, which will
Oh, nice.
save you time and effort in terms of finding a suitable place for your mood and for your preference, taste, if you
Oh,
like.
nice. So, for instance, if I travel a lot and I'm into a lot of outdoor activities, and it can tell from my history that I'm not very much into like museums and stuff. It's not going to recommend I go to a museum, right? It's gonna gear it towards what I like to do, and not and basically not towards stuff that I don't really visit over time.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Now, also another question I noticed when I was looking through the website. I'm trying to think of the exact words that we use, but it said something about anti-fake system or anti-fake protection. What does that mean? Obviously, I mean fake reviews are it's important to or fake postings. It's important to be able to stop those from happening. How does that system work?
So obviously we've created our own multi-level anti-fake system. It's the first level of the system is actually registration and login verification. So if the account is logged in on another device that will be disconnected from the previous device. In addition, it reads the fingerprints of the device to interact with it on further levels. We have digital watermarks, secure digital signatures, unique content digests, metadata storage for images and videos, etc. Level two interacts with the device and fingerprints and analyzes user behavior. It is supervised learning system for detection. The system actually accumulates an extensive collection of user-related data. Group behavior is analyzed where attempts to manipulate reviews and ratings are detected. At level 3 and 4, verification is done using sync and async algorithm. Thanks to verification pipelines, we can detect incorrectness of fake reviews and determine their quality. So the detecting fake reviews is going to be built on technological methods, user motivation and verification, transparency and moderation, adaptation and updates. So another key thing that I would like to point out is attachment to geolocation services. Because we've looked closely at our competitors, and for instance, what TripAdvisor does is you and I, we can literally sit in different places and decide that we want to leave a review about some restaurant in Cancun, and we can easily do so when we've actually never even been to that place. And that already
Mm-hmm.
kind of undermines the point of real review. And daGama,
Right.
you will only be able to write a review about a place that you've actually physically been in, and you would have to check in daGama. It doesn't mean that you have to write the review here and then. You can do it in a week's time once you're back home, once you feel comfortable doing it, when you have the time. But you must physically be in a place where you want to write a review, and that minimizes the risk of fake reviews. Plus, in order to earn the token, you have to do some activity. You have to upload photos and videos, scan the QR code of the receipt, etc. So all those little details help you make sure that the reviews are real, and that will also help other users to know that the review that you see on daGama, all of them will be, as real as possible. Obviously, we understand that fighting the fake makers is a constant hide and seek, and we will be adapting our mechanism, as we move forward.
Nice. And yeah, I mean that's really the biggest problem you guys are solving is because there's already apps and systems out there, but they're not fake proof, they're not foolproof. Your TripAdvisors and your Yelps and others similar. I mean, we've all experienced it. It's not real. And I've actually seen business owners where somebody may have a grudge against a business owner and they create a bunch of fake accounts, fake reviews. So this is important to have, right? Because it not only can help people find good places when they travel, but also protect the business from fake reviews. Just when maybe one single person may have a grudge against that business, maybe not even related to the business model itself, but something personal. So I think you guys are solving some really good problems there.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, I'm not sure if you've seen it, but there was even a short episode on South Park about the movement of Yelpers and how they basically kill off the business. And I mean, the business in the US, from my understanding, is molding from Yelp, because if you don't pay them subscriptions, that's it. Your rating is going to go down, and as a result, you suffer, your revenue suffers, and the clients are not coming to your place, even though you could be providing a great service.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's not the way it should be. A business should be graded by the service or the product or whatever it is they provide, and not whether or not they have they have a subscription to a certain platform. So let's jump into the Web3 aspect of this, right? You mentioned a few times the utility token. So how does cryptocurrency and Web3 how does that tie into daGama?
Right. So obviously, we were thinking of how to make the most use of our token, and we what we came up with in terms of the Gamma token is that this is going to be a utility token within our application that will be beneficial to hold for both the business and the user. Because all the transactions within our application are going to be done via our utility token. So the rewards that the business is paying to their users, um, premium accounts for businesses and premium accounts for users. Um, Everything will be purchased with the Gamma token. In terms of the benefits that it gives, obviously, we're not going to allow businesses to promote themselves. Only if the community is giving you a high rating, then the business that is connected to Business Panel can sort of inform their clients about certain events or certain discounts. But in no way we're going to allow you to promote yourself or try and kill off the competitor on our platform. And same for the user. If they achieve a certain trust rating within our application, then they will be able to um, get extra rewards, additional discounts through that they purchase through our utility token. So yeah, that's essentially how it's going to work.
Okay, nice. And so there's going to be a wallet within the app. Is that correct?
Yes, it's not going to come straight away, but that's something that we're working on. At the beginning, what we're going to have is we're going to have points
Hmm.
within our application. Once we integrate the wallet, obviously those points they will be able to be converted to the token that can later on be either used for services or sold at the exchange.
Nice. Yeah, I've seen a lot of not platforms like yours, but just platforms in general that are going to make that basically that intro into Web3. They start with like a point or an internal token type system, and then it's easy to convert those to tokens, and it's more of a fair distribution, right? Because it's not like you're running an ICO where you're selling tokens. You're basically distributing them to existing users. So
Yeah.
nice, nice. Any insight onto so the token itself is that token going to be live on any particular chain?
Yeah, we're launching on the Arbitrum blockchain.
Hmm, gotcha. Yeah, I've seen a lot of projects launching on actually those two, Arbitrum and Optimism are the two I've seen a lot, and it seems like those are really designed for platforms like yourself and just to make things easy for the user. Um, So any insight into when people can expect? I know obviously with development these things fluctuate, but just any estimate
Yeah.
as to when people can expect to potentially see the Gamma within App Store or Play Store in the future?
I would like to I would not like to give an exact date because, as you've rightly mentioned,
Understood. Yeah.
development is a big headache, and sometimes things don't go according to the deadlines. But I do hope that it's going to be at some point in July.
Okay. All right. Yep. Actually, we're not going to hold you to that. So, but definitely looking forward to hopefully that'll work out. I've known from being in the development side of things, and also especially then on the app side where you're dealing with Apple and Google. I know sometimes the delays are on the team's end, and sometimes the delay is on Apple and Google just to get those approved. So I definitely understand that now. For those that like to try stuff out early, right? I remember on the website there was a join for early access. Are you allowing, still, are you open for people joining within the test flight now, or is that closed?
Yeah. So obviously we're more than welcome to have early users and early adopters to start filling out the map with content. It is already possible to do in test flight mode, but obviously we're keeping it closed for our community and our testers that would start filling out the map with content. The reason we're doing this is to make sure once the application is live, Obviously, we're going to do onboarding and education for users on how to use daGama to make sure they get the best experience out of it. But we want to show how it should be done. So we would like to have a couple of places in different cities already established, so people can actually start using the application, and based on what the others have done in the past, they can start fitting out the map with their own content.
So, looking at it, I may want to try to test that out. I know my next trip is not till July, so but definitely we'll talk some more. Maybe I'll see about getting access to be able to try it out. I'll be in Brussels the first week of July, so um,
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be more than happy to share the link to test flight. Are you on iOS or Android?
oh, I am on Android. That may be a problem, right?
No, I mean,
Oh,
it's doable. I'll
okay,
definitely share with you a link on Telegram.
okay,
And obviously, if you have any sort of feedback, even constructive criticisms, I would be more than happy to receive it from you, because that would definitely help us to build the product to the
okay,
best of our
nice.
ability. And at the same time, you will receive some rewards for do helping us do it.
All right, looking forward to it. I always love being early to test stuff out, and this is something that piques my interest because the problems you mentioned early on, like when we first started talking about the gamma and what you solve, is the problems that I've experienced personally as well. So it's not like you picked a small subset. I think a lot of people would agree that when they travel to a new place now, it's really hard to find the good places to go, the like the accurate quality reviews. I can tell you, just I'll give you an example. When I was in Belgrade last week, I stayed in a hotel, and on the particular website that I booked the hotel, it had high reviews, high ratings, and I can tell you, and it wasn't just me because Marie, our head of marketing, was with us too, and her room was just as bad. It was not to the quality that the review said it was. It made us realize that, man, those reviews were fake. And, and so I've experienced that just in that term, you know. So there definitely is a need for a more open, transparent system, a way to vet what what's real, what's not. And I mean, we talk about real world use cases for blockchain and AI, and I couldn't think of a better way than to prevent all of these fake reviews, fake insights on certain places from probably people that have never been there, or the business just basically creating a bunch of fake reviews to prop up their score.
Absolutely, Wayne. And the key point about this is we want to encourage the locals to start filling out the map with, their
Hmm.
view of things, because essentially nobody knows the place better than the locals do. And
True.
once you come to an unfamiliar territory and you start reading out the reviews and you realize they're fakes, the best thing that you can do right now is actually go out on the street, and let's say whether you're
Talk
in
to them.
Belgrade, if you're in Belgrade, just go to the street and ask a local Serbian guy, give him the map and tell him,
That.
listen, mark with a pen the best places that I need to go to. Because if you go to touristy places, most of the time they're overpriced, and they do not invest into the quality of services, because their clients are not local guys. Those are tourists, because they will only come once most of the time and never come back. So they just, work on essentially one
Yeah.
client goes and another one comes. They don't have a loyal customer base. But those
Right.
little places that could be off a high street, that they
Hmm.
truly invest into the quality of service and they have loyal customers, those are the hidden gems that we all should be exploring and visiting, and wherever we're going.
Yeah. Yeah. And when I think about it, last week, like the best places we went to were recommendations from people from Serbia that were at the conference we were at, and even a couple of them I made the comment like that especially this one restaurant that was probably the best place we ate. I was like, we'd have never even known about that place if we wouldn't have talked to somebody that was local, because it's not something you're just
Yeah.
walking as a tourist and you find. If you walk by it, you may not even realize it's there because it was kind of hidden. So yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward. I'm gonna test it out. I'll get set up. I was thinking about my trip next month in Brussels, but I'll actually. I live right outside of New Orleans. New Orleans is a big tourist spot, and so I can definitely provide some insight into New Orleans for daGama.
Yeah, that would be awesome. We would be really glad and appreciate it a lot. Thanks so
Yeah,
much, Wayne.
awesome. Cool. Well, Gabriel, as we wrap up, man, can you tell everybody where they can follow and follow along with what's going on with daGama, and whether it's maybe share your website and your socials as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Follow us on Twitter. If you type in the Gamma World, you will see our Twitter account. Our website is daGama.world. Follow us for updates, and once we're live, you'll be able to see it on our Twitter page because we're most active on Twitter at the moment.
All right. Thanks, Gabriel. I challenge everybody, make sure to follow them. I know, travel is very important to many people, and maximizing those travel experiences as well. So I'm going to get a chance to test it out, and you guys keep an eye on what's happening. Any final words before we wrap up, Gabriel?
I would like to say a big thank you for having me, Wayne. It's been a pleasure to catch up after we met in Dubai. And I wish you the best of luck with your podcast and with your project, Theo Protocol. Once we're live, I'm sure that we will have a lot more synergies to talk through and to build together. Have
Absolutely.
a great day, man, and talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Well, thanks a lot, Gabriel, for joining us. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and we will catch you on the next episode. Take care, everybody.